Hey guys, what's up? So I'm going to do another little drum tutorial talk video. I just got done recording Stand Up and Shout and Holy Diver off of Dio's debut album released in May 1983. The reason why I want to do these or do this video is I made a slight change um, in my setup on how before I was using a different setup on how I record the drums, and these two videos that I just did, I decided to do or I decided to make a change to get a better sound with the drums. I noticed that the last drum videos I've been putting up that I looked at that I've done in the past, um, like I said, if you've seen those videos or the tutorials, I had the Roland kit plugged into my Fender Blues Junior amp, which is a tube amp over here, and then I had the music coming out of a stereo over there, and it sounds good when you're in the room, but I noticed that when you go to play back on the videos, it was really bugging me that the drums kind of sounded a little bit boxy because the microphones on the camera were not picking up the drum sound coming out of the speaker over here, the amp, and the stereo over there. There was like this inconsistency on balance sound that was bugging me. And I decided this weekend to actually late last week into this weekend, I decided to experiment with a different setup to get a little bit of a better sound. And you might be a little, and if you think it sounds good, I think it sounds good, but if you think it sounds good, you might be a little surprised on how I'm doing it. So I decided to get the Roland kit and plug it into the Roland Microcube amp, which is behind the camera, which is the same amp that I use to do my guitar stuff. And I have the music, the stereo where the music's coming out of. I use the CD. Again, old school, and I have the music coming out of the stereo, and the stereo is plugged into the Roland amp as well. So the stereo is plugged into the Roland amp, and the Roland drums are plugged into the Roland amp. So you both have the drums and the music, or the backing track, as I like to look at it, coming out of the same amp speaker, which is the Roland micro amp, which is behind the camera. I found out that the drums sound more consistent. With this setup, the drums and the music create more of a tighter sound and gave me more of a better accuracy of trying to sync my playing up with the music, where you can hear the music and my drums, my playing only, for the most part, in a more consistent, balanced way. And I was quite surprised after listening to the videos that I did, the two videos I did, the recent ones with this setup, on how good it sounds. Sounds a lot better. And I know it doesn't sound perfect, not just the playing, but the sound. People are going to disagree and say you should do this and that or whatever, but on a budget purpose and for a little bit of creativity, the reason for the creativity behind it and the kind of house I live in, this works for me. It's good enough for me, and I hope you really dig it. And like I said, I was quite surprised after hearing the two songs I did on how better the drums sound. The bass drum sounds more fat. It's not getting lost in the mix like it was before with the drums and the amp speaker back here. Going forward, I'm probably going to be recording the drums like this with this setup, because I just think it sounds a lot better. Those Roland amps, I've talked about it before, they're great amps. It's the Roland Microcube GX series. Real quick, just on the basic setup. So I have my Roland drums tuned up to the best of my ability to sound similar or appropriate to Vinny Appice's drums on the album. Obviously, it's not going to sound identical. It's not going to be perfect. I'm not Vinny Appice. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be so much of a copier, but I'm trying to get into that vibe and play in the style of him, but also add my own flair to it. So I got the drums set up to sound very similar to the kind of sound that you would hear on like a metal album like Holy Diver. And I'm using a steel snare. I got 3 toms up here. I got a 13-inch tom with fiber heads, 13-inch tom with fiber head here, 13-inch tom with fiber head here. They're all 13 inches. I have the settings adjust to 13-inch fiber toms, and I just tune them differently to obviously make them sound a little different. This one obviously being the highest in pitch. And down here I have a 16-inch fiber floor tom. And then back here I have my old school Ludwig Classic Maple Black Oyster Pearl 16-inch floor tom with the Remo silent stroke head for volume purposes and tone. And of course I have the Zildjian 18-inch low volume LV80 Crash Ride. I did not use this in the 2 videos, but it is here if I want to use it. And I just found out that putting the microphone or the camera where it's at, and with the drums plugged in the amp, the music plugged into the micro amp back there, the microphones on the camera, they're kind of like crisscross like that. They pick up everything, like I said again. It's more consistent, it's more balanced, a nice tighter sound, and where you can hear it's just, the balance is just so much better. I wish I did my old videos like this way. This way I just experimented, like I said, late last week and this weekend, and I found out that this worked the best. And down here on my bass drum, I don't even think I mentioned it yet, but I actually got a brand new Ludwig Speed King. I got it back in sometime this past winter, 2021. January, February I got it. It's the brand new Ludwig Speed King reissue that came out. Sounds great. Awesome. I didn't even have to adjust the action or nothing. I just took it right out of the box. I screwed on the beater and, you know, turned some screws, and here it is. And it's great. And it does, believe it or not, it does squeak a little bit. And this is another benefit with this rig set up the way I have it now, is that you can't hear the squeaking because it's so muffled in the mix. You can't even hear it because of the camera microphones are just focused on the loudness and the output coming out of the Roland amp. And also doing this way, I also noticed that I still can hit this cymbal and this floor tom back here, and it still picks it up, even though the camera microphones are way over there. I use, in the 2 videos I did, I use these Vic Firth SD4 combo sticks with the wood tips. They're actually thick drumsticks. Well, they look kind of thick, but they're actually almost hollow. They're very light, and they're very gentle on this kit with these pads. You know, I don't like using too heavy sticks on the electric kit with the pads because it just wears the pads down. But these are actually not as heavy as they look. They're actually very light. They're almost like hollow. They're not hollow, but they feel like it. They're just very light. They just have a nice feel. Wood tips. I also want to talk about, just real quick, I think I talked about Vinny Appice before, but it does say, according to the credits in the album, the credits inside the artwork, that Vinny Appice was using Zildjian cymbals and Slingerland drums. And I'm assuming it's probably the same drum kit that he used like on the Mob Rules album. Or I don't have the picture with me, but there's a picture of him on the Black Sabbath Live Evil album, the picture on the back of the CD version, where he was using like this monstrous um, natural finish kit. Almost looked like almost looked like a thermogloss color or a maple natural finish color on the kit. It almost looks like and I always thought it was a Ludwig kit, but I think that's the kit he's also using on the Dio album and the Mob Rules album. So I think that the kit you also hear on the Mob Rules album is a Slingerland, and that picture that I'm talking about on the back of the Black Sabbath Live Evil album, I believe is that Slingerland kit, not a Ludwig. It's a Slingerland, and I think it's the kit that he used on the Holy Diver album with Dio. I'm totally going geek out right now. This is like geek mode. Some people like these videos. I notice I get a lot of views, so I want to post another tutorial talk video. But like I said, in the Dio album, in the credits, it does say Vinny Appice thanks Zildjian cymbals and Slingerland drums. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think Slingerland drums are around anymore. I think the company ran out of business or got bought out. Like at this point, many years ago, maybe like 15 years ago, something like that. Maybe even longer. About that, maybe. I knew I was like a teenager. I was like a young teenager, I think, when Slingerland was like unknown, starting to be unknown. I think they got bought out, or I think they just went bankruptcy. They just went out of business. But if you know, comment in the description. Of course, I'm being geek out right now, and I'm wearing my Holy Diver Dio shirt. You gotta wear it in the video, right? You know. And then, if you're wondering why at the end of the video I always get this thing over here. I always go like this at the end of the video. It's supposed to be my drawing of the front bass drum head of Vinny Appice's kit. So it's a Slingerland kit. So I make it look like it's the front batter head. And on the back of it, it's kind of hard to read it in the videos unless you pause it and really dig in and like zoom in on it. But what I wrote on it was the mid-late 70s, possibly early 80s Slingerland bass drum logo that would have been seen on Vinny Appice's Slingerland white/white marine pearl finish wrap drum kit. That may be incorrect, but I think there's a Black Sabbath show out there with Vinny Appice playing. I could be wrong. And there's a white kit. It almost looks like it's either a white kit. It's either a white kit or a white marine pearl kit. I could be wrong. Could have sworn I seen him use this drum kit with Black Sabbath in the early 80s. And I didn't know if it was a Slingerland kit or a Ludwig kit, but that's why I wrote that. Anyway, the kit was possibly the white marine pearl kit, possibly the kit used on the Heaven&Hell Black and Blue tour in the 1980s, which was also when Black Sabbath, the Dio years, when they toured with Blue Oyster Cult. It's called the Black and Blue tour. And is also possibly the kit used on the Dio years after Bill Ward's departure. But I think the kit that you hear Vinny using is that natural finish looking kit. I think that's the kit that you hear on the Mob Rules album and the Live Evil album and the Holy Diver Dio album. This was possibly a Slingerland kit seen on the back cover, blah, blah, blah. We already said that. The Slingerland white or white marine pearl or natural color kit. Alright, we said that too. Blah, 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 blah. Also, that natural finish looking Slingerland kit is possibly the kit probably used on the Last in Line album as well, which was released in July 1984. So that's why I hold these up in the end of the video, just to make the video look cool. I just try to make a good presentation to it. So if you're wondering what that is, that's why I do that in the end of the video. So again, thanks for watching the videos. I wanted to take a break from the Eric Clapton stuff that I've been doing, and decided to come down to the drum room in the dungeon and record some Dio stuff. Eventually, I don't know when or how soon, but eventually I'm going to try to do the whole album, the whole Holy Diver album, if I can. It might take some time, and it's not going to come up sporadically. It's not going to come up like right away, like all these videos on my channel, but from time to time I'm going to be putting them up. I'm still working on a couple songs. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I'm working on one song, and I was practicing it today from the album, and it's getting there, but I still need to work on some pockets, and that's going to be the next one I'm going to work on. But anyway, thanks again. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Thanks for checking out the videos. Yeah, Holy Diver, Dio. Awesome album. Check it out. A lot of you guys probably already know who Dio is. But thanks again. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Rock on. Stay safe.